أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العادون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وشفيع ذنوبنا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من ليلة هذه إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد كان الله تبارك وتعالى وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين يؤذون الله ورسوله لعنهم الله في الدنيا والآخرة وأعد لهم عذابا مهينا آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم صلوات اللهم صل على السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Alhamdulillah, all praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granting us the opportunity to be with you here at Hasanayn Islamic Center. The last time I remember I cited Majlis here was in the middle of Ramadan. In between, of course, I've been coming for the course. As you heard that we had the Quranic Arabic courses. So I came for 10 Fridays in the evening. Inshallah, if we have enough students, then we are going to also again come next month. This is the first presentation at Hasanayn as far as I'm concerned since this problem started in Gaza, in the Middle East, and especially the massacre and the genocide of Palestinians there. So I thought that it's my duty to connect the discussion with what's happening there. And our discussion today is the du'as in Ziyarat Ashura. Ziyarat Ashura, as we know, has so many components, but there is one part which is of dua within Ziyarat Ashura, which inshallah we are going to connect, and perhaps we can use these duas in trying to help, at least to pray for this oppressed and occupied people of Palestine, right? And also others who are suffering, also for ourselves, in fact. The ayat of Quran which I recited is ayat number, it's ayat from Surah Ahzab, which is just next ayat after ayat al-Thani, right? Where Allah says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. Those who do aziyat of Allah and His Messenger, those who annoy or do aziyat of Allah and His Messenger, لَعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ. Allah curses them. Allah deprives them of their mercy, right? فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. In this world and the hereafter. وَعَدَّ لَهُمْ عَذَابًا مُهِينًا. And Allah has prepared for them a humiliating punishment. Now, before I come to discussion about the dua in Ziyarat Ashura, as you know, today is 28th of December. By the weekend, we will end this year, 2023. And by Monday, inshallah, it'll be 1st of January, which is a new year. Although it's an English year, but we have, right? We also, if you see, our calendars will change, our desk diaries will change. So many things will change. So our daily life, we use this calendar, the English calendar. So I thought it's appropriate at least to remind myself and the mu'mineen that as we make the resolutions for the new year, let me share with you two hadiths, inshallah, that will help us as we prepare for the new year. We are ending this year. The most important thing, of course, is that if you have somebody's right on you, this is the time. You can tell to this person, whether it's a relative or a friend or anybody for that matter, that since I'm ending this year, I might have, for example, if I have any right, if I owe you, or there is anything else I need to do, please let me know. We usually do this thing when somebody dies. And especially not when somebody dies, the relatives are the one who said, okay, if the marhum has any kind of, for example, outstanding debt, you approach us. If the marhum has, for example, hurt your feelings, then have a heart to forgive him or her. Why do we wait for somebody else? Why don't we do it ourselves in our own lives? It has so much value. Imagine if I were to text you or write you that, as we were sitting somewhere and the discussion came about you, I might have said, or something might have been said, please forgive me, right? You'll be shocked, but at the same time, you say, imagine the nobility of this person, right? At least that in his lifetime, he's asking for that. So if you have anybody's right, let's try to fulfill. Amongst the right, of course, is khums. If khums is wajib on you, make sure that you don't miss out. We are fortunate in this country that 1st of January is a public holiday. In this case, in fact, we have got Sunday, which is 31st of December. 1st of January is Monday, so you've got 2 days, right? 31st of December is the time you sit with your accountant, you sit with your own, for example, books, try to go through your bank account. I'm sure you know how to calculate khums. The discussion is on. But make sure that we just see what is the khums due, keep it aside, and try to get it, dispose it as soon as possible. Until that time that you don't dispose that khums, it is wajib on you, it's amanat on you. And those who don't, for example, calculate khums end of the year, the beginning 1st of January, whatever I eat, whatever I wear, is mixed with my own money and what is khums is due. So it can be doubtful also for namaz. No? So I don't want to get any kind of masails, but this is something which we need to keep in mind. And we are fortunate we've got 2 days to get this thing sorted out. But coming to the 2 hadiths, I promised that perhaps which can help us as we make resolutions for the new year. There's a hadith from the 6th Imam, the 7th Imam, salawatullahi wa salam alayhuma. This is a beautiful hadith. I remember when I went to Hawza in 1984, this was 84 January, I think this was the hadith, one of the first hadiths which our teachers taught us, if I'm not forgetting. At least, if not in the first month, no second month, at least in the first 6 months, this hadith was taught to us. Since then, this hadith has been a cause of inspiration for me. Why? Because since then, I realized that my life cannot be static. See what Imam is saying. Imam is saying, Man istawa yawmahu fahuwa maghboon. Right? He says that anybody who is going to equal 2 same days, if you keep your 2 days as same, then you cheated yourself. Today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. So whatever you have done today and tomorrow, if it is same, right? There is no difference. There is no progress in your life. Then you are cheating. A human being is supposed to always progress, right? So Imam says, Man istawa yawmahu fahuwa maghboon. Then he says, وَمَنْ كَانَ آخِرْ يَوْمَهِ شَرَّهُمَا فَهُوَ مَلْعُونٌ. Worse than that is that person that whose following day is worse than the previous day. Today is Sabah Juma, so you came to Majlis. Today is Sabah Juma, you attended the Dua Kumel. Today is Sabah Juma, you came earlier, you attended Surat Yasin. Today is Sabah Juma, you are, for example, maybe perhaps going to say Ziyarat, all those things you did, right? Tomorrow is Juma, for example. And you did not do any kind of Islamic du'as other than just wajib namaz. You did not participate, for example, any kind of mustahabat. Then that day is worse than this day. Or for example, today you learned something from the majlis. Tomorrow you could not come for Jummah prayers, for example, and you did not learn anything new. So your following day was worse than the previous day. So Imam says, وَمَنْ كَانَ آخِرْ يَوْمَيْهِ شَرَّهُمَا فَهُوَ مَلْعُونٌ. The one who is following day is worse than the previous day, then that person is mal'oon. That means he's deprived of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The mercy of Allah is with us all the time, that we continue progressing, right? And then Imam says, وَمَنْ لَمْ يَعْرِفْ الزِّيَادَةَ فِي نَفْسِهِ كَانَ إِلَى النُّقْصَانِ أَقْرَبَ. And when you do not find any kind of progress or improvement in your life, then you are near to loss. أَقْرَبُ إِلَى النُّقْصَانِ. And then last sentence in this hadith is quite powerful. Imam says, وَمَنْ كَانَ إِلَى النُّقْصَانِ أَقْرَبُ فَالْمَوْتُ خَيْرٌ لَهُ مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ. The person who is nearer to loss, then for him death is better than life. In other words, if you just try to summarize this hadith, if I and you, if we do not progress in our life, then we are just walking people. But no, death is better than us than life, because life means we have to progress. The fact that every day, for example, if today I am, let's say as an example, I'm already senior, but let's say I'm 60 years and 1 day. Tomorrow I'll be 60 years and 2 days, right? So the life is progressing. You can see the time is going on. So how can I be same when it comes to knowledge? How can I be same when it comes to ibadat? How can I be same when it comes to rights of others? How can I be same when it comes to social interaction? Every day we have to do some kind of improvement. And this is natural. If you want to see this thing, this is also found in children, right? Any child, ask any child, Masum, subhanAllah, ask beta or beti, what would you like to become? And the child would say, I would like to become, for example, like my father, like my mother, or like a Maulana, or I would like to be a police or a fireman, right? You can see there is tumu. There is ambition in the life of a child. Even a child is hoping that as he or she grows up, will become something. So this shows that what is found in a child is natural. These are innate things Allah has put into us. So how we as elders, as mature people who have gone through so many things in our life, how can our life not progress? So it is important that we progress. And as we make our resolutions, we should make a point that our following year, inshallah, if Allah gives us life, then 2024 should be better than 2023. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another hadith is from Mawla Amir Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Imam says, Ma min yawmin yamurru ala ibn Adam illa kana lahu dhalika al-yawm. Subhanallah, Imam says, as the day passes by, not a single day passes by in your and my life, that until that time, that day addresses us. For example, today is 28th of December, 2023, Thursday. This day is talking to me. That day, what does he talk to me? He says, Ana yawmul jadid, that I am a new day. Because yesterday was Wednesday, December 27, 2023. This day is a new jadid. So as this day entered, it talks to me, it addresses me, Imam says. Ana yawmul jadid wa ana alayka shaheed. And I'm going to be a witness over you. I'll be a witness over you. فَقُلْ فِيَّ خَيْرًا. On account of that, say good things in me. وَعْمَلْ فِيَّ خَيْرًا. And also do good deeds in me in this day. أَشْهَدُ لَكَ بِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Because on the day of judgment, I am going to be a witness against you. I'm going to say that on this day, Hasanayn did things and did things on this day, not this day. فَإِنَّكَ لَن تَرَانِي بَعْدَ هَذَا أَبَدًا. Imam says that after this, you will never see me again, because 28th of December 2023, Thursday will not come again, right? That is gone in history. So that day will come to us again on the day of judgment. So we should be careful that as we are planning, as we are progressing and making resolutions for the new year, keep these two hadiths, inshallah. Coming to Ziyarat Ashura, as you know that we have this Ziyarat, which is found in the book of Amal. Shaykh Abbas Kum has Mafatul Jinan, and many of the books have it, right? And we recite this as the Amal of day of Ashura. And this Ziyarat, as you know, has been taught by the fifth Imam, Imam al-Baqir salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. After teaching this Ziyarat to Al-Kama, right, or Al-Kami, Imam then said to him that it is this Ziyarat, if possible, right, if you are able to perform the Ziyarat every day, then do it, Imam says. And when I read that hadith for the first time, I was surprised that this is the day of Ashura, is the Ziyarat of, name of Ziyarat Ashura. It is recited on the day of Ashura, and within the Ziyarat, there are phrases, Hadha al-Yawm, this day, that means the day of Ashura, referring to that day. So when the Ziyarat is so specific, why would Imam then ask us to recite it regularly? I was thinking about it, and there are a number of reasons which I recited in Majlis some weeks ago, some months ago at JCC, you can look at. But one reason, at least, is because of the beautiful du'as which are there. This ziyarat has some of the powerful du'as which are found in this ziyarat. And I believe, this is my personal belief, I strongly believe that reciting this ziyarat every day, let me tell you one thing, subhanAllah. So often, because of this age of WhatsApp, you get so many clips and so many forward people do these things until you have to tell them, please don't do that, right? But sometimes you'll find they'll send you a dua. They say, this is mujarrab dua. You know what mujarrab? Mujarrab comes from jarab. That means it's something which people have tried, it has worked on them, right? That is one of the mujarrab. So you'll find that recite this dua, perform this amal because it is mujarrab. Let me tell you one thing. If somebody sends you like that, the first thing you have to ask that person before start forwarding or even acting on it, tell them, can you give us a source of this? Has this ziyarat come from the Masoom, from an Imam or not? Because with us, the Shias, alhamdulillah, we are fortunate. The Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have left with us heritage of du'as which is, amazing. Believe me. Nobody is like that. We have so many du'as and so many, du'as of every occasion. Every event you can think of, Masoons have covered. Because the Masoomin, their life starts what? It is 250 years. From the time of Risalat of Rasulullah till the Ghaibat of the 12th Imam is almost 250, 260 years, right? So during that 260 years, they were shared with us different kind of events and different kind of occasions that du'as have been taught. So we always try to recite dua taught by the Masoom. And that is why, for example, I don't know if people know about this thing. This Mafatul Jinan is compiled by who? Shaykh Abbas Qumi, right? But do you know, before Mafatul Jinan, there was Miftah al-Jinan. Miftah, right? I don't know if you remember. This, if I remember when I was very young, a kid, it was found in Masjid in Tanga. I was born there, I was raised there, so I saw that Miftah, right? So this Miftah was there. Shaykh Abbas Qumi rahmatullah alayhi would go and lecture amongst the Mu'mineen. He will open the book Miftah and then he'll say that this dua is very good. But this particular dua found in this book is doubtful. It doesn't seem to be coming from the Imam. I could not find his sanad. I could not find connection of this dua with an Imam. He would point out this thing. So he would do it often. Whenever he get chance, he would do this thing. So finally people came to him and said, Agha, you are telling us that this is reliable, this is not reliable, this is reliable. We are not scholars, you are scholars. You are a muhaddis. He was known to be a expert in hadith. You are a muhaddis, right? Why don't you compile something which is reliable? And subhanAllah, after that Mafatul Jinan came. Mafatul Jinan came after Shaykh Abbas Qumi took that Miftah, removed all the things which were doubtful, and then he could try to trace every dua with original sources. He put Mafatul Jinan. And then, of course, when he did this thing, he did not write the source there because the book becomes very bigger, right? He did not do that. Like, for example, Najul Balagha, right? Najul Balagha, you can see, has beautiful hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen, but it does not give the sanad. It does not tell you in which book it was found, which book, all these things not there. Because if Sharif al-Radi had put this thing, that Najul Balagha, you can find that book of 500 pages will become 1500 pages, right? It becomes so heavy. People will not even open it. Even just now, you don't open it, right? So you can imagine that would be the case. But just now, Sayyid Ali Quli Karai, the one who has translated Quran, also translated Mafatul Jinan. And what he has done, he has taken the trouble, he has taken the pain of sourcing every dua, every passage, every tasbih, every amal found Mafatul Jinan to the original source, primary source, in the footnotes. And that is why you can see Mafatul Jinan now published by Sayyid Ali Quli Karai in English translation are in 2 volumes because he had to put all this in footnotes. MashaAllah, is available on Amazon. And for the price of just $45, you can get that one book, right? Which also includes postage. If that book, if you buy just now, for example, in the store, and if you post it to Vancouver, it will cost you $50. It will cost you $60. This at $45, $50 you get, including posting, you can get it. Not that I'm trying to promote Amazon, I don't have any shares in Amazon, but because there's a place you get it. That's what I'm telling you, right? So try to have this thing. He has put these sources, so subhanAllah, this is the dua, these are the duas which we have. And that is why when you are sometimes given this clip that this is a mujarrab dua, your first question should be, is this from an Imam or not? And that is why I'm coming to it, that Ziyarat Ashura is something which is not only mujarrab, but is also from the Imam. It's not only from the Imam, but you can source it. You can source from the from Afat Janan to which book, to which book, to which, all the way to fifth Imam. You can do that. We have even today in our books completely chain of narrators from the fifth Imam all the way to Shaykh Abbas Qumi. You can get it to know that this is reliable. And that is why I'm sharing with you some of the du'as within the time we have. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the du'as, first of all, is that we are going to side with the support of Imam al-Mahdi. Right? This is the most important, that if the 12th Imam comes, then we are praying to Allah that, Ya Allah, give me tawfiq that I be with him. Now imagine every day when you recite that, Ya Allah, let me be with Imam Mahdi, let me be with Imam al-Qaim, right? All the time. Even if I die, because you are reciting this thing, you'll be given that opportunity. If not you, then your family, your generation, somebody, but you'll be written as those. You'll be counted as people who are junud of al-Mahdi. You are the host of Imam al-Mahdi, because you are always wishing that thing. And keep in mind that today, what you are finding happening in Gaza and other places, zulm, right? As far as we are concerned, you can see, right? See the narrative. People, I always tell, don't worry. The youth sometimes come to us and ask this question. If we were right, why we are being killed? If we are right, why we are being attacked? Why Allah's punishment doesn't come? I'll tell you one thing. If you were wrong, then these big companies, multi-billion-dollar companies, would not ban you. If you are a student in Harvard, if you are working in Google, if you are working, for example, a big company, if you just post something about Palestine which is positive, they will fire you. If they were right, they will not fire you. They'll say, okay, Ali, you wrote this thing, right? Let me tell you why you are wrong. Why they don't want to sit with you and argue with you? Why they don't want to, for example, say, okay, these companies which are all powerful, all money, they could bring scholars and debate, right? That see, for example, no, the narrative by the Zionists is correct, the narrative of Palestine is wrong, right? They should say like this. But they realize that we don't have the points to prove. So what they do, they fire you. What they do, they deprive you of your scholarship. What they do, they tell you that you will not get the job, right? And all these things, they try to pursue you. Why? This only happens when they are wrong. For example, if you have a child who is listening to everything, whatever you tell, they believe. But there's a child who's very smart. Everything what you do, you go to madrasa, for example, you go to a student who just listens to what you are saying, does not ask a question, comes on time, does the homework fine. You are happy about that student, right? But there's another student who's very smart, very, very smart. Whatever you say, he challenges or she challenges. Say, no, where did you get this thing? Who has said this thing? Which mom has said, right? Although it is annoying for the teacher, but this child is smart. So what would happen? When the child continues, one day the teacher will say, just better keep quiet. If you don't want to be part of this thing, you can go away. You can see, you shut him down. So this is it, that because our narrative is correct, because we know that these are occupied people who are doing zulm, right? And because they cannot answer, that is why they are doing what they are doing to us. That they are firing us, for example, they are depriving our students of student loan and all those things. So don't worry. But come to the point. The point is that the real justice will not come until the 12th Imam. Imam Sajma'ullah Faraja will come, right? Allahumma salli ala. When I was studying in Qom, right, many, many years ago, I used to see slogans sometimes, in the streets. They say, Jahan dar intizar adalat. The whole world is waiting for justice. Adalat dar intizar Mahdi. But adalat is waiting for whom? For justice. In other words, without Imam Mahdi, justice will not be born. You'll see. All these kind of narratives will be there in the paper, all these things, but real justice will not be there. And that is why you can see the most important one of the du'as is that we are praying to Allah that when Imam al-Mahdi comes, oh Allah, make me to be part of him, right? So we say, فَاسْأَلُ اللَّهَ الَّذِي أَكْرَمَ مَكَامَكَ وَأَكْرَمَ بِكَ أَنْ يَرْزُقَنِي طَلَبَ ثَارِكَ مَعَ إِمَامٍ مَنْصُورٍ مِنْ أَهْلِ بَيْتِ Muhammad, right? We say that, oh Allah, I ask who merited your station, right? So we say that, oh Allah, that, oh Imam, that Allah has venerated your station, right? And honored me through you. We have been honored on account of Imam al-Hussein, right? Imam Hussein, we have got honor because of what he did, right? He has honored us. To provide me the aid to avenge your blood, that means the blood of Imam Hussein, with the supported leader from the family of Imam Mahdi, right? So, oh Allah, give me that ability that I cry for Hussein every Thursday, every Muharram, Safar. Give me the ability that when Imam Mahdi comes and rises to take the revenge of the killers of Imam Hussein, I should be his supporter. You see, so this dua is there, right? Again, in another part, in the same Ziyarat Ashura, وَأَنْ يَرْزُقَنِي طَلَبَ ثَارِي مَا إِمَامٍ هُدَى ظَاهِرٍ نَاطِقٍ بِالْحَقِّ مِنْكُمْ. And oh Allah, grant me the opportunity to avenge my loss along with a guided Imam among you who will manifest and speak the truth, right? So you can see that this is one part of the dua, that we are trying to pray that, no, Allah, give me that ability that we are with Imam al-Mahdi. So we as Shias, we always pray for the Imam, but not only that Imam Ajjallah Faraja, but when if he comes, I should be with him. I should accompany him. I should help him out. If not me, then maybe my children, maybe my progeny should be there, right? Or dua should always be there. And that is one thing which inshallah will bring about justice, right? The second set of du'as are to be with Imam al-Hussein in this one hereafter. Not only that, we should not only cry for Hussein, but let us try to be like Hussein. Let us try to have the sirat and the lifestyle of Hussein. It is very important, right? That Imam Hussein, subhanallah, how great this Imam is, that every year in the month of Muharram, we have been listening about the greatness of Imam Hussein in his fazilat, his teaching, his sacrifice, his sabr, right? His akhlaq. Every year, even then it is fresh, right? It is fresh. Every time you see something new we learn, right? That is Imam Hussein. How good it would be that if we can have some of those good habits, some of those characters, some of the good akhlaq, right? So you can see, we say in dua in this ayat, Allahumma jalni indaka wajihan bil Hussein al-Islam fi dunya wal akhirah. Oh Allah, make me distinguish with you, that means near you, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through Imam Hussein in this world and the hereafter. So Allah, make me distinguish with Allah. No, we want to be through Imam Hussein. So I should not only cry on Hussein, but I will try to follow Imam Hussein, and through Imam Hussein, we try to have that kind of distinguished position, right? So this is again that praiseworthy status, right? Then there is a dua, subhanallah. Maqam al-Mahmud. What is Maqam al-Mahmud? A station of praiseworthy. You, for example, in your life, you reach such a status that you people feel proud of you. Your parents, mu'mineen, angels, Imam Mahdi, right? This is on Maqam al-Mahmud, right? In this dua, we say, وَاسْأَلْهُ أَنْ يُبَلِّغْنِي مَقَامَ الْمَحْمُودَ لَكُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهِ. Oh Allah, I beseech from you, I ask from you to make me reach an honored station you have with Allah. That means Imam Hussein has a special station with Allah, right? Make me reach that station of Imam Hussein. Now how can I do that? Only until I start following Imam Hussein, right? So this Maqam al-Mahmud, as praiseworthy station, we pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Ziyarat Ashura. So when we recite this Ziyarat, keeping in mind, then we also benefit from these du'as, right? And that is why I feel that we need to recite this dua regularly. Mu'mineen, as you, those of us who are concerned about the welfare of these oppressed Palestinians, if you just try to find time and recite Ziyarat Ashura every day, you will see that kind of special status, right? That you are praying. Now, one question which comes every time when I recite this majlis, before even somebody comes with that they say, I want to recite Ziyarat Ashura. It's not a big deal. It takes only 4 to 5 minutes. Our question is, do we have to say Lana 100 times? Do we have to say Salam 100 times? The question comes. The answer is, if you can do it, better. Otherwise, say it whatever. 90 times, 80 times, 70 times, 60 times, 10 times, 5 times, 1 time. You can do that, right? Because of that, it should not deprive you of reciting Ziyarat. Because you can see Ziyarat also has all these du'as. So keep this in mind. But have the practice of reciting Ziyarat. As I told you, this Ziyarat is both mujarrab and also trustworthy, reliable, right? Coming from the Imam, right? Another dua, for example, in this, you say, فَاسْأَلُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي أَكْرَمَنِي بِمَعْرِفَتِكُمْ وَمَعْرِفَةِ أَوْلِيَائِكُمْ وَرَزَقَنِي الْبَرَاءَةَ مِنْ أَعْدَائِكُمْ. Subhanallah. Now we are praying that, oh Allah, honor me through knowing you. That means, oh Allah, ask who honored me through knowing you and knowing those who love you and granted me dissociation from your enemies. So Allah, I ask, we ask Allah that who has given us marifat of Imam Hussein. This is an honor. So Allah, Fasullah Allazi Akramani, that Allah has honored with marifat wa marifat awliyaikum, and also his companions. Wazakal barata min a'daikum. So Allah has given us that risk of what? Of dissociation with the enemies. So try to see if somebody is enemy of Hussein, right? Somebody who has the habit of the enemies of Hussein, we try to dissociate with these people. This is very important, right? That, for example, there is a scholar, I won't give you a name, he was very popular, still very popular, right? He's a Sunni scholar, very popular, and people used to listen to him a lot because he was popular. But one day he praised Yazid a lot, right? And said, no, Yazid, may Allah have pleasure on him. So they said, did you make a mistake? Is this was just a slip of tongue? Because for everything they say, radiyallahu, radiyallahu, this was just radiyallahu by mistake or knowingly? No, he put it again. He said, no. Yazid is Khalifa and Yazid is this thing, everything. Then people realized that no. This, however, even as a scholar, we don't listen to him. Right? For example, earlier I recited ayat of Quran. I recited ayat of Quran whereby Allah sends lanat on those who annoy the Prophet, who annoy Allah and His Prophet. It's ayat number 34 through Ahzab, right? It's there in Quran. Allah sends lanat. There's a scholar in the south, he's very popular, articulate. If you go to his lectures on YouTube, hundreds of thousands of people listen. 200,000 people, 300,000 people who listen to him. Very popular. So what happened a few years ago, about 3-4 years ago, he gave a lecture on Ashura, on the history of Ashura, because the Sunnis are asking that Ashura is so important, Shias are commemorating, why don't you talk about it? So he talked about it. In that lecture, as he talked about Ashura, he defended the action of Yazid. He defended the action of Yazid in that, what Yazid did. In his lecture, he's a scholar, well versed and quiet, and an expert in history also. After that, he got a lot of backlash, both from the Sunnis and Shias. What are you talking? He realized that he made a mistake. So following year on the day of Ashura, he talked about Yazid. He talked about Yazid and what Yazid did. And then he said Yazid does not deserve any praise, no defense. He said with Sunnis, there are people who curse Yazid, Sunni scholars. He gives the name of Sunni scholars who curse Yazid, right? Everything. He gave all that spectrum of scholars and their views about Yazid. He says, as far as I am concerned, he says in that, you can check it. He says that as far as I am concerned, Yazid was wrong. We cannot defend him. He was at mistake. He cannot be excused. Everything he said. But I would not send lanat on him. Why? Because lanat is a gali. It is something not good on your tongue. So there was not a Shia person sitting there who could have said, does Quran have a gali? In Quran there are 37 to 40 places where word lanat comes. If lanat was a gali, why would that be in the Quran and Majid, right? So this is it, you can see. But no, the reality is what? He realizes Yazid is wrong. He realizes Yazid is inexcusable. He realizes Yazid cannot be defended. But because Shia send lanat on Yazid every time, every Ashura, how can he do also, right? Otherwise he'll be like Shias. So that's why he cannot do lanat on him. But it's not Shia Sunni thing. This is a person who was wrong, who has done so much zulm on Imam Hussein. Not only that, he did also attack Makkah, he attacked Medina. You just look at, in just 2.5 years of his Khilafat, how much wrong he did, right, Yazid. How can somebody even praise that? So we are trying to say in this Allah that, oh Allah, you have honored us by dissociating away with the enemies of Ahlul Bayt. That we want to steer from that. There is no question, right? And then the fifth of the dua, and I'll end this thing. Allahumma ij'alni fi makami haza mimman tanalu minka salawatun wa rahmatun maghfirah, right? Oh Allah, make me at this moment one who receives from you blessings, mercy and forgiveness. SubhanAllah. Imagine in Ziyarat, every day when you recite, you say, Allahumma ij'alni fi makami haza. Makami haza means after reciting the Ziyarat, after praising Imam Hussein, after praying for the Imam Hussein, after sending salawat on Imam Hussein and his companions and all shuhada, you now reached a stage, right, in that. Now you have a status at that time, you are praying to Allah. Allahumma ij'alni fi makami haza mimman tanaluhu salawatu wa rahmatu maghfirah. Oh Allah, make me in this particular moment the one who receives from you your blessings, your mercy and forgiveness. Subhanallah. So there are many du'as. We have just shared with you 5 du'as in this Ziyarat Ashura. Mu'mineen, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may Allah give us tawfiq, that we are able to recite Ziyarat Ashura regularly, and through Ziyarat Ashura we can pray that may Allah relieve Muslims all over the world, especially those Muslims who are suffering in Gaza, of this difficulty, and may Allah defeat the enemy and disgrace the enemy. Wa salli ala Muhammad wa alihi tahirin. Mu'mineen, I know that we are still in the month of Jumada al-Thani, and in fact, as you announced that on Tuesday you also have the wiladat of the Sayyidah. But you will excuse me, today I would like to just recite the gham of Janab al-Yaskar. Why? Because in this conflict, in this genocide which is taking place there in Palestine, in Gaza, right, in the occupied place, children have paid the biggest price. More than 7,000 children have been killed. There is no fault of these children, right? And some of the children are still under rubble, right? It is so much affected that even the Pope had to say that these are little Jesus. The children who have been killed in Gaza are little Jesus, right? He can give them that status. And we have example in the events of Karbala of al-Yaskar, right? Al-Yaskar's shahadat in Karbala is the biggest evidence that Yazid was wrong, Yazid was dhalim, and Imam Hussein was mazloom. That is the biggest evidence. That what did that child of 6 months, what wrong did he do, right? And that is why on the day of Ashura, when Imam Hussein number of times says, Hal min nasin yansuruna, hal min mughithin yughithuna. Is there anyone who can come to our help? Is there anyone who can respond to our call, right? As Imam was doing this thing, when he did this 4th time, at that time suddenly, instead of getting any kind of help from the Yazid's people, suddenly he heard that there were ladies who were crying in the khayma, in the tent, right? So Imam Hussein goes there and says, Janab Zainab, Hussein is still alive. Why is it that you people are crying? And Janab Zainab says that, oh dear brother, oh my dear brother, no, when you raised the cry of istighasa, at that time al-Yaskar started crying, and now he's crying non-stop, right? To the extent that he is just, his condition is such a way that he's completely restless, right? Imam Hussein realized, he said the child must be suffering because he's so thirsty. Imam Hussein goes to Janab Rabab and says, Rabab, give me this al-Yaskar. Perhaps somebody would have mercy, somebody will pity him and give water to him. Imam Hussein Islam takes al-Yaskar from the hands of Janab Rabab. No, he's not promising, but he says perhaps that somebody would have that kind of mercy. That at least let me do Itmam al-Hujjah, right? Let me go there. Imam Hussein Islam takes al-Yaskar because it was scorching heat. He takes al-Yaskar and then covers al-Yaskar with his kaba, with his abba, right? So that at least the heat of the sun will not be affected by that. We will say, Mawla, we are trying to just protect al-Yaskar from the heat of the sun through your abba. How would you protect al-Yaskar from the air of Hurmala? Al-Yaskar is taken from Maidan. Imam Hussein Islam is now raising. Imam says that, O Shia of Abu Sufyan, if you believe that Hussein is wrong, if Hussein has done something wrong, what wrong has this child done? In no community, in no religion, in no creed, no, in no denomination, nobody would say that a child of this age is gunegar, that he has done anything wrong. Why are you depriving him of the water? Because you have deprived his mother of the water, even she does not have any kind of milk. But now the child is suffering, but nobody comes forward, right? When nobody came forward, Imam Hussein Islam raised al-Yaskar in his hand and said, Beta al-Yaskar, you are also son of Hujjat, right? You are Hujjat and you are also son of Hujjat. Why don't you also do your Hujjat? Why don't you just fulfill your duty? Al-Yaskar opened his mouth just to show his dry tongue to the enemies, right? When the enemies saw this kind of state of Al-Yaskar suffering, right, in such a kind of thirst, even the enemy who was stone-hearted started crying. There were tears found in the eyes of Al-Yaskar. Umar Saad Maloon, who was at one place, when he saw that his people now have mercy towards the son of Al-Yaskar, he said, Hurmala, where are you? Where are you? He said, here I am. He said, Hurmala, ikta kalam of Hussein. Oh, Hurmala, make a point to just cut off the speech of Hussein and try to just make a stop to it. Hurmala just raises his arrow. It is said it was 3 prongs of arrow. He just tried to target towards Al-Yaskar. As he was trying to do it, and it took some time, Umar Asad says, Hurmala, what is wrong with you? Are you afraid? What is scaring you? What makes you delay? At that time, Hurmala says, Umar Asad, you are looking at me, but I can see that there's a lady standing on the khaymas, entrance of the khayma. Maybe she is the mother of this child. How can I just slaughter a child in front of the mother? But Umar Asad was so stone-hearted. He said, Hurmala, I have given you the order. Go ahead. Hurmala sends that arrow. It is said that Al-Yaskar Islam got slaughtered right in the hands of Imam Hussein Islam. He became Shaheed. Imam Hussein Islam, in that small neck of Imam Al-Yaskar, such a child who was already suffering from thirst, right? And such a young child, but still there were few drops of blood which came in the hands of Al-Yaskar, Imam Hussein Islam. Imam Hussein just took and put on his face and said, I'm going to report on the day of judgment. I'll come this way on the day of judgment and complain to my Nana about what the community has done. Azadar Hussein, Imam Hussein Islam has now Al-Yaskar in his hand. He's going back towards the khayma. This is the first time that Imam Hussein even did not know what to do. He goes towards the khayma, but then comes back and then goes and says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un bi dhammi qada'i wa taslimun li amri. Imam Hussein is just going and comes back. He must be thinking, how can I take this child to the mother? On the other hand, if I don't take, then Rabab is going to say, what happened to my child? Finally, Imam Hussein Islam brings the child and hands over the child to the mother. Janabi Rabab says she's the condition of Al-Yaskar and said, Misluka yunhari ya bunayya. Oh my child, oh my young son, a child like you can be slaughtered like a camel. Allah la tulqam dhalimina inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Rahimallahu man qara al-Fatiha. Bismillah.